This, I'm going to start everything here.
I'm Sugar Rose, and you're listening to Battle Scars. You know, we all have battle scars. Whether you are battling with PTSD or depression, whether you're going through a loss of a relationship, or maybe you're starting over. Maybe you lost someone or something you loved. You could be a soldier coming home from deployment and not sure where to begin, learning who you are all over again. Suffering and don't know how to cope, treated in ways you don't deserve. Do you have an addiction you're struggling with, but you're ready for change? Whatever it may be, you're not alone. That's what Battle Scars is all about. A radio show, a movement, making a difference in the life of others. Too many of you are suffering silently. I can feel your pain. Not to be negative, but over 22 veterans a day take their life. The suicide rate is at its worst. Someone once used the analogy, we're all like a pot of boiling water. If you fill the pot up all the way, eventually the water is going to flow over and it's going to go everywhere. It's going to burn those around it if too close, and those burns leave scars. And not only is it going to burn them, it's gonna burn you, the ones holding the hurt inside. PTSD is a disease that not only affects our veterans, but anyone and everyone dealing with some type of trauma in their life. They wear a mask, trying to disguise their pain, but there's no mask you can truly hide behind. I found through research and my own personal experience, people want help. They want someone to hear them, or listen, or just care. This is the least talked about subject in social media because no one wants anyone to know they are really not okay. More of the majority of people are actually not okay mentally versus the ones that are. Someone needs to stand up and say, I care. Someone needs to be a voice and bring this reality to light. I feel led to listen, to help, to guide, and to inspire others. Whether through words of encouragement, life stories, or even testimonies of others. Let us help you through to a more positive place. It only takes one person to care. Let us help fade your own personal battle scars before it's too late for you.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Fill Your Cup, Motivational Mondays with Sugar Rose. You guys can find me on the People's Patriot Project, WeP3 Radio, under my own Facebook, Sugar Rose, and under also my page, Sugar Rose Music. And we are also working on different platforms to get it to Instagram and TikTok and things like that. So I'm actually streaming live from Instagram, or not Instagram, from TikTok right now as well. So hi guys, hello everybody. Love you all. Thank you all for joining in. If you're just jumping in, my name is Sugar Rose, and I am doing my live show that I do every Monday, Fill Your Cup Motivational Mondays with Sugar Rose, just to bring you some motivation, some positivity, some love and light into your world. So hopefully we'll be able to say something tonight that, helps you in some way. So tonight is kind of special for me. I always do these shows just kind of, not gonna lie, off the seat of my pants, right? Because I feel like I don't need to have a script. I don't need to have something in front of me that tells me exactly what to say. So this one tonight was just kind of kind of special. It came into my life, and it just at a beautiful time. And I want to share it with y'all because it really opened my eyes to just something beautiful. There was someone very special that I was kind of talking with this weekend, and we were talking about how do you figure out how to change, right? How do you figure out how to move forward with your life? We're all kind of wired like a network, right? We're all kind of just full of all these little electrons. We start when we're younger, and when this person brought this to my attention, it blew my mind because it's so true. We start off little, like tiny little microbes, right? And we get older and as time goes on, we start to form these little electrons, right? And they start to form more and more and more. So when we have different things going on in our life, like let's say something really, really bad happened when we were younger. Let's say we went through some sort of trauma, or we went through some sort of heartache, or we went through some sort of major loss, or sadness, or abandonment, or a lot of times, and again, I bring this out because I'm a huge mental health advocate for men. A lot of times you're trained to be quiet. You're trained not to speak. You're trained to shut your mouth and rub some dirt on it and keep moving on with your life and be tough. Thank you, guys. And I'm live here getting messages back and forth. So, I almost swallowed my Oh, well, hey, that's what you get when you do it live. At least I didn't swallow my gum. Anyway, but you're trained to do these certain things and act a certain way. And when you're younger, you're trained, by your parents, right? Or whoever's that authority figure in your life. You're trained to listen. You're trained to obey. You're trained not to do this thing, and you're trained not to do that thing. And you're trained to do certain things. So you take that and it starts to wire who you are as a person, right? And with men in particular, you're trained to be tough. You're trained to stand up. You're trained not to cry. You're trained not to have emotions. You're trained to not be able to feel because you're not allowed to. Because the people in your life before that, they weren't allowed to. So it has to go down that same pattern. And we were sitting here just talking about this, and the most amazing thing was said. And man, if it ain't true, I don't know what is. We have to learn to rewire our network, right? Rewire our legit internal story. Rewire what we've been trained to do for so long. Because sometimes as we're forming all those little electrons together and all those little wires connecting and everything's starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger, sometimes that's not the network that we need to be connecting to. Sometimes that network is taking us down a path of destruction. And how do you rewire that network? What do you do to push forward and to change your mindset? And the most amazing thing he said to me was, you've got to rewire your soul. And it's so true. It's exactly what it is. You have to rewire your soul because from the beginning, we are born with a heart. From the beginning, we are born with a soul. And as we get older and we go through hard times and we go through difficult situations and we're trained to do things a certain way, it starts to fall apart and it starts to kind of dissipate as something else larger is forming in its place to take control of what is supposed to be there. So how do you rewire your soul? How do you push forward to change? I found this today and I want to read it to y'all because it's really, really neat. And it makes a lot of sense. You know, is this going to happen overnight? No, things don't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? I mean, it takes time to learn how to do things. It takes time to love yourself and find yourself and push forward and find who you're meant to be and why you're here. And sometimes you have to go through all that shit. You have to go through that storm to find your light, to find the network that you are supposed to start, to find your soul that you need to rewire to push forward. And I found this and it blows my mind. Okay. It's 10 steps to rewrite your story, right? Because we are all a story. We are all from the beginning where we start. Every little day we do something different happens. We learn something, we grow from something, we find out a lesson, good lessons, bad lessons, ugly lessons, hurtful lessons, but it keeps training us who we are. And this I found very interesting. Overcome negativity bias. Did you guys know that the human brain is wired to make the bad shit stick in your head? Yeah. It's much stronger than the good stuff. Okay? So even though you have maybe an equal share of both positive and negative experiences in your life, because we all do, not all of our life has been miserable. Not every single thing we've done since the moment we've been born has been horrific. Yes, there's probably a lot in there that has, but there's a lot in there that hasn't. There's some beautiful parts in everything. And you know, what it says right here is that the brain tends to emphasize the negative over the positive. And it's so true because we're wired that way. We've gone through the hurt. We've gone through the pain. We've gone through the trauma. We've gone through everything. So to protect ourselves, we think about the negative shit. We think about closing in and protecting ourselves so we don't have to deal with the outside. We don't have to deal with that network that's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. So we try to think about the negative stuff. And that blows my mind. So psychologists actually call this phenomenon a negativity bias. That's a trip, right? It can impact your story, which means your life, your soul, your purpose, your mission for being here. It can impact everything you do, and it can sabotage who you're trying to become. It can sabotage your success. It can sabotage who you are as a person and the possibility of finding that hope inside you. Overcoming this as the first thing to do, if you want to rewrite your story, make a conscious decision. And this is what I talked about last week. Make a conscious decision to find the positives in your life, right? Find the positives. Flip the script, just like I talked about last week. Find something beautiful in the ugly. Find something in there, no matter how bad it is. It might be that you went through horrific trauma. You went through whatever it might be. You may have PTSD. You may have depression. You may have anxiety. You may have all those things rolled into one because you've dealt with trauma. Or maybe you were deployed overseas. Or maybe you're a first responder or a policeman or a nurse or a doctor. Or maybe you're a domestic violence abuse victim. Maybe you've dealt with it from childhood. Maybe you're dealing with sex abuse. But everything in there is something beautiful. There is something in there that's bigger. And that beautiful thing might just be that you've been hurt, so you're going to protect somebody else. You're going to stop somebody else from being hurt the way that you were. And even though it seems like a crazy thing to say, it seems like a crazy thing to do, when you help somebody else, when you find that purpose in yourself to love somebody else and care about their pain and their hurt, you will start to heal. And, so going on into this, it blows me away. And here's the thing, right? You're the author of your own story. Put yourself in charge as the creator, because you are the one writing your story from here on out. I had a post on my TikTok earlier today with one of the videos that I did. And I duetted it because it blew my mind. Said he'd been through 30 years of trauma, 30 years of hurt and pain and heartache, and his future was already written for him. Your future can't be written if it's in the future. Your future can only be written if you choose to write it. Whatever you're going to do tomorrow can impact the rest of your life. And you can make some future decisions that are going to make your decisions for you and choose your future. But there's another side of that, where if you've gone through hurt and you've gone through pain and trauma and everything else, you can still rewrite your future. And that's where rewiring your soul comes in. I mean, you put yourself in charge as the creator of your own story. You impact your own perspective and approach to life. So if you get up every day and you're like, screw life. I hate this. I hate myself. I hate my body. I hate everybody around me. I don't like this. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to go eat worms, right? That's how your life is going to be. If you come across like that and you come across as I'm worthless, I'm hopeless, I'm helpless, I'm a loser, I'm just destined to be miserable for the rest of my life. I'm destined to have PTSD for the rest of my life. I'm destined to have nightmares for the rest of my life. I'm destined to struggle for the rest of my life. I'm destined to never have a future. I'm destined to never have a good job. I'm destined to just be a hopeless loser. It's exactly what you're going to be. But there is inside you, you don't have to be that way. You don't have to be that person. You push forward and you start to rewrite your own story because you are the author of your story. You are the one in charge. And you know what? That blows my mind is that I had to learn this because for a long time, I had a hard time. I've gone through a lot of struggles. I've gone through a lot of pain. Maybe not near as some others, but my story is different, just like all of our stories is. And I chose to say, I'm going to get up today. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and I'm going to say, I got this. I matter. I have a purpose here. I have a reason here. And maybe I don't know what it is right at this second, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to push forward to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I'm going to push forward to say that no matter what I've gone through, no matter the things that I have dealt with, the experiences that I have been through, I don't have to live it forever. I don't have to take it with me for the next however long God gives me on this earth and suffer through it. Because I'm the author of my own story, right? Just like you're the author of your own story. I think it's a beautiful thing to say, put yourself in charge. You are the creator of your future and your destiny. When you rewrite your story, you need to find a theme to focus on. I like that. You got to find a theme. Because if your theme is that I suck, I just suck all the time, and I'm going to rewrite my story as I suck, you're going to suck. Plain and simple, you're going to suck. But if you get on there and you say, all right, I'm going to rewrite my story, and I'm going to change my theme to growth. This is something that Till the Hollow Project says best, and I see it all the time. You grow through what you go through. And it is 1,000% true. You absolutely grow through what you go through. No matter what it is, you're learning something. You're taking something from that experience, good, bad, and ugly. You are becoming, again, that network, right? And you're choosing how strong that network is going to become, how strong that network is going to continue to have a hold of you. Are you going to let it become stronger and stronger and the force to just overcome you, to say that you just suck and that's it and there's no going back and you're worthless and hopeless? Or are you going to start breaking apart that network and rewire your soul? I love that saying. I can't even tell you. I'm just saying that I got to just say, all right, Jersey Devil came up with that. And it is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to tell y'all, if you're not following him, you need to. I think he might be in the comments, Jersey Devil 8402. You've got to follow him because he is a hell of a mental health advocate. And I can't even begin to tell you that saying is such an incredible saying. Rewire your soul. Rewire that network. So sometimes you have to consider, as you're writing your story, you have to consider closing some of those chapters. Okay? So even though there's chapters in there that are hurtful, even though there's chapters in there that are heartbreaking and hard and maybe broke you or are breaking you or are hurting you, or every night, you're struggling and you can't get past that, close that chapter. Just close it. Just close it and wad it up into a big old chapter ball and yeet it right out the window. Because that chapter that you keep open is stopping you from pushing forward through that network that's so strong, holding that place. So when you finally close that chapter, and I'll tell you, for example, I've had to close chapters in my life. I've gone through hurt. I've gone through pain. I've gone through domestic violence. I've gone through sexual abuse. I've gone through trauma. I've gone through abandonment. I've gone through loss. And if I continued to be that way and say, woe is me, my life sucks, I'm a worthless person, nobody wants me, I'm not worth it, I'm not loved, I'm not appreciated, that's who I am. That's who I'm always ever going to be. And why would I want to be here for that? So I chose to close that chapter. I chose to take that book and rip that shit out of my internal story, rip it out, wad it in a ball, and stick that son of a gun in the fire. I will swallow my gum again. I'm getting too passionate. But, you know, you've got to close the chapter sometimes. So no matter what you've got going on, it's okay to close the chapter, and it's okay to start over. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to ask for help if you don't know how to start over. That's what we're here for. We love you. We are here for you. We are here to reach out and lift you up and help you onto the right path. I have an incredible family behind me. I mean, I am just one wee little pea in the sea of vegetables, like I've said before. But a lot of little peas that come together, they make up that vegetable medley, right? Because you can't have vegetable medley without peas. And if you don't like peas, well, I'm sorry. Found it to be a good analogy. But it's so many of us are coming together, and we are pushing for a movement, pushing for change. The People's Patriot Project is an incredible family that accepted me and allowed me to come on their platform, on their radio station, on their page, to be able to speak to people like you. Amazing, amazing people that are my family, because that's what you guys are, your family. And we all love you, and we all want to be here for you. We all want to lift you up, and we want to help you through the tough times. We want to help you figure out how to close that chapter, how to restart a new one and rewire your soul. And it doesn't happen overnight, and I know. And sometimes I'm not necessarily the one that can change that for you. Well, I mean, I'm not the one that can change it for you. I can be that guiding light. I can be that person you listen to. I can be that person that gives you hope and opens your eyes and helps you heal. But you have to be the one to open your eyes and your heart and open yourself to being acceptable for change. And that's when my family comes into play. You know, we have professionals that have done research on so many different things. We have professionals that have done research with our veterans, with our first responders, with our policemen, our firemen, our EMT, that have worked with certain organizations to help find ways to get you to heal if you have PTSD, if you're a veteran, if you're a first responder, if you're struggling. We have other family that are there for people that are suffering and struggling in general. You don't necessarily have to be a veteran or a first responder. If you're suffering or struggling with depression or PTSD or anxiety, and you're at a point where you're ready to stop saying, woe is me, and you're ready to stand up and say, I'm done hurting. I'm done dealing with this. We have people that love you, that want to lift you up and want to help you push forward into that. You didn't see that. I get passionate, you know? So many people are afraid of change, right? I was terrified. I'm still afraid of change sometimes. That doesn't go away overnight. You know, it's the fear that if you change something about your life, that it's going to knock you down for good. And if you have that fear that you're going to be knocked down if you try to change, you're not going to be able to stand up. So you have to know the fear is always going to be there. Fear is absolutely, appreciate it. Fear is always going to be there. Fear is at the forefront of our minds because that's what we're trained to feel. We're trained to go to the negative right away. Like for me, I have no desire to jump out of an airplane, like whatsoever, because I'm terrified. Okay. And I'm okay. Look, I'll let you know a little secret. I'm working on this. I have a fear of elevators. Yeah. Yeah, I do. TMI, but it is what it is. I'm scared of elevators. And I have to overcome that fear. I have to get in an elevator by myself. And I have to stand there. And I have to get over it. Because it's the only way that I'm going to get over it is if I do it. Just like in relationships in the past. I've been in a domestic violence abuse relationship. I had to leave with the fear that I was going to get killed. I had to stay there and stick it out and deal with that because for the longest time, I was terrified to walk away, run away, hide. I was terrified to leave. But I had to. I had to stand up for myself and I had to hide and I had to run away and I had to leave or it would have been the end of me. That was a fear. I've had so many fears in my life that it stopped me from making decisions. It has stopped me from pushing forward with certain things in my life. You know, to be honest, how I'm even here blows my mind. How I'm even speaking to y'all on this platform right now as we speak. If you would have asked me a year ago, would I be here right now? No. I never would have thought in a million years because my life changed overnight. You know, from the time I was a little girl to now, I sang when I was a little girl. I went to vocal lessons. I was in choirs. I was in talent shows. And when I was 14, I was in a talent show and I lost. And I had someone tell me, you're just not that good. I took that fear and I let it become part of my network. I let it become part of what I became. And granted, I don't for a second regret what I've become because I had to grow and grow through what I go through, right? But it became part of me. It became so big that I cared what everybody thought about me all the time, not just in music, not just in singing, in my life. I became a follower. I became that person that said, yes, doctor, no, doctor. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. How can I do this? What can I do better? How am I doing this? Am I okay? Did it sound good? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And it hit me in my relationships. It hit me in certain things that I went through in life because I wasn't good enough for me. And I went my entire life in a different direction. Whether it was meant to be or not, I went my entire life in a different direction. And one day, when my life crashed around me and I lost fucking everything, excuse my language, I'm sorry, I apologize. When I lost everything, New Year's Eve 2020, my life changed overnight because I got asked to get on stage. Something I hadn't done in years. I sang in the shower. That was like my passion. And then when I had my coffee shop, I had bands come in and I would sing with them once in a while, a song or two. Never got on stage by myself and sang acoustic. I got on stage that night. Mind you, a couple glasses of wine were involved. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit of a rough night beforehand. I wasn't even going to go. That's the weird part. But that night changed my life because I let go of that fear that I wasn't enough. And I said, you know what? Hi from South Whitley. Hello. Oh my gosh. That's where my coffee shop was. You know, I let go of that fear that I wasn't enough. And I let go of, you know what? My passion has been singing my entire life. My passion has been writing poetry my entire life. And I put it down for years because I wasn't enough. And I was afraid of change. I was afraid to push forward. I was afraid to succeed. And now I sing and I write and I speak. And I'm not a follower anymore. Because when I took that step to push forward in my life changed overnight to this beautiful, incredible thing. And mind you, it has not been easy. It's not like, woo, magic, everything's fantastic. No, it didn't happen like that because Rome wasn't built in a day. But I will say that I am here speaking to you now. Oh, battery's dying. I am here speaking to you now and saying that you can get through this and don't let fear get in the way, because there's people to help you. There's people that love you. There's people that are here to lift you up. And we are on both sides of you. I promise you, front, back, side to side, giving it up till the day we die, right? That is exactly what it is. We're here for you. We've got you. And you're not going to fall. Even if you get to a point where you're afraid to take that step, but you're ready to do it. And you're ready to stand up and say, I am ready to rewire my soul. We are right here waiting for you, standing right next to you. So last part here. Every story, there's often a bad guy, right? That ends up defeated. When you're writing your own story, focus on how to defeat your villains, right? Focus on how to defeat your demons. Focus on what you can do to send those bitches packing. And again, another thing, just another incredible thing. Tell your demons that the devil's on the loose. Jersey Devil again. He's got incredible ideas and thoughts. And, you know, it is so true. Send those sons of bitches packing, because you know what? They're hurting you. And they're in that network just rolling it up like a big old ball. You don't need them there, because you've got us on your sides. You've got us holding you up. And you can do this. You can heal. You can push forward, and you can change your mindset, and you can rewire that soul, because it's time to send them packing. It's time for them not to be a part of your life anymore and holding you down, because they are like, wait. I'm not chewing gum next time I do this. They're like weights, okay? And they're sinking you down. They're going to make you go sleep with the fishes. All right? You don't want to go sleep with the fishes. And they're sinking you. And we're here to say, we're going to give you your wings and lift you up and pry those sons of bitches off of you and stick them in the fire. So you don't need them. You don't need their negativity. You don't need their little whispers in your ear. You don't need their screaming. You don't need their pounding, their everything that they do, knocking on that door to get into your heart. You don't need them, because you got us. Last but not least, your environment is one of the most powerful forces of your life. If you're in a place that you're struggling because of the people around you, okay? whether it be your family, whether it be your friends. I gotta plug you in. Whether it be your family or your friends or whatever it might be. If you are in a place where you are not lifted up, where you are not loved, where you are not appreciated, where you are treated like garbage for whatever reason, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there. Even though it's one of the hardest things to do, your environment will shape who you are. Thank you. Your environment will continue to form that network. And you can't heal when you're not in a peaceful environment. You can't heal when you're in a place where you're feeling unloved and unworthy and unappreciated. You've got to find a way to get out of that environment. And sometimes that means letting fear be at the forefront and saying, I'm going to step over this line, even though I'm scared, even though I'm afraid that I'm going to lose this, or I'm going to lose that, or I'm going to start over. You have to get into a place where your environment is positive. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done. And again, you've got us. You've got us here side by side. You need an ear? We got two to hear. Shoulder, left or right. We'll stand by you, right by your side. One family, one mission, one fight. I wrote this song. I just recorded it last Wednesday. It's releasing very soon. I'm excited. But it's called One Family, One Mission, One Fight. And I wrote it for you because we are here. And I don't care if it touches one person or a million. If it changes one person's life, if it helps one person to open their heart and their eyes and rewire their soul, then we've done our job. And it's not just me. Like I said, I got a family behind me because I couldn't do this by myself. But I'll tell you what, I've said this before. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes brothers and sisters in arms to fight a battle. And it takes family to win a war. And it is so true. You can't battle this by yourself. 9 times out of 10, there are times that you just can't do it alone. So don't hold it in and don't struggle with it. Rewrite your story. Find your demons and kick their asses to the freaking curb. And if you need help kicking their asses to the curb, we got you. Because you're not alone. Choose the right supporting cast. So you're always the main character in your story. Your supporting cast plays a vital role, right? That goes back again to your home life, your living situation. It goes right back to who you are as a person, who you involve yourself with, what you're around. You know, if you're around negative people all day long that are just crappy, they're going to bring you down. If you're around addicts when you're trying to get sober, it's going to be a struggle for you. If you're around an alcoholic when you're trying not to drink anymore, it's going to make it harder for you to do so. You got to choose your characters. You got to choose the people that you put in your life because, again, you write your story. You rewire your own soul. You are the main character in your story that chooses where your story is going to go. Right up that ladder or right down that ladder. You're the one who makes that decision. And finding those characters, it's not always easy. But again, we're here for you and you're not alone. And you don't have to fight those characters by yourself. Perhaps creating your new story based around freedom from addiction. You'll want to keep away, just like I just said, you'll want to keep away potentially from toxic people. If you're trying to change and you're trying to push forward and you're trying to find a new you and you're trying to break that network and rewire that soul to heal and push forward and be fresh and start fresh, start with people in your life. If you're with a person that doesn't respect you and doesn't love you and talks down to you and doesn't appreciate you, as hard as it's going to be, you walk away from that, because it's easier to love somebody from far away than up close sometimes. It doesn't mean you don't love them any less. It just means that in order for you to heal and find who you're supposed to be and push forward into your own life, sometimes they don't need to be there. Speaking of goals, rewriting your story is also about rewriting your goals. The goals you had in the past may no longer be serving you. So maybe your goals in the past were like, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to be a football player and I'm going to be a badass and I am going to sell the most coffee in the entire world. What? Right? Maybe that's not necessarily the most logical goals for me, right? Because for one, I don't play football and I don't really, and I'm not good at it. And, you know, so sometimes you got to rewire your goals. You got to find different things that work for you. Maybe your goal is this. Maybe your goal is, I'm gonna do this today. This little thing. It may not be much. It might be just making your bed, but you did something. Instead of your goal being, I want to find someone to love me because I want to be loved, and that's it. I need love. I'm going to find my soulmate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to find it. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe your goal is to say, all right, if there's someone out there for me, they'll come along when they're meant to. And until then, I'm going to work on loving me. I'm going to work on loving who I am. I'm going to work on being able to look at myself in the mirror every single day and be able to say, I love you. I matter. I am enough. And when I get to the point where I can look in the mirror every single day and say those things about myself with confidence, I'm rewriting my goals. So maybe instead of saying, my goal is to be that I'm going to be perfect in a year. There's going to be nothing wrong with me. I'm going to be just perfect person. It's not a logical goal because we're all perfectly imperfect, right? We all have flaws. We all have down things. We all have things that make us and wire us who we are. But in that, we can make a more logical goal. Like, I'm going to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I'm going to smile more today. I'm going to do something more positive than I did before. And those are the things that you use to retrain your goals. Yes, love yourself to love others. Absolutely. You've got to love you first. You got to look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I love all of this, right? Even if, you don't necessarily like me. I love myself. I do. I love every part of me because I had to teach myself that. I had to train myself to love me because for a long time, I didn't love myself. And you got to look in the mirror and you got to love who you are. And if there's something about you that you just don't like, you know what? Get out there and change it. Conquer that fear. Push forward and change that. Make it your goal to become who you love. That's right. Don't rush anything that's meant to come at the time it's meant to come. Absolutely. Very true. And keep at it, right? Now that you've rewritten your story, okay, you're on that path to start pulling that network apart, telling those sons of bitches to pack their bags because they're not welcome in your heart and your soul anymore. Now you've got to push forward. Now that you're taking that action, it's important to understand that changes and setbacks are okay. It's okay to have a change and a setback. It's okay for things not to go the way that you thought they were going to go. I can't tell you how many times I've had a plan. How many times they're like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it work and this is going to happen and this is going to be great. And you know what? It's not. Because in the long run, our plan isn't our plan. It took me a long time to learn that, and I'm still learning it to this day because there's still things where I'm like, really? Why do I have to do it? Why do I have to go through this? Our plan isn't our plan. And it's true. But you got to keep at it. And you got to know that setbacks are okay. If you fall down, you get back up, right? You don't just sit on the ground unless you broke your leg. Then you might need a stretcher. But, aside from that, you get back up and you push forward. If you use again on accident because it just happened, you're in a rough spot, you did something, you're trying so hard, but you fell down. It's all right. It's a setback. Because in here, in your heart, in your soul, you're trying to change. You're trying to push forward. And you're going to go next time and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do this a little bit different so this doesn't happen again. Or let's say you decide to drink again when you're trying to get sober. You're 90 days sober or 120 days sober, whatever it might be. And you get the worst news in the world, or something happens, or you break up, or you have a hurtful thing happen, or you're getting into that stage again where those demons are taking over, and you take another drink. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean that everything you've worked so hard for is gone. And it doesn't mean that network has come back together with all those demons in it to say that, haha, now you're screwed. Your future is written. You're done. That's not what it's saying at all. It's saying that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have a setback. But the next time you put it in your head and you put that goal in there, that you're going to do something a little different next time so that setback doesn't happen so much. So don't beat yourself up when you have setbacks. Don't beat yourself up when you're struggling. That's what we're here for. We're here to lift you up. There's some incredible programs out there. One, through the People's Patriot Project. Two, through Recovery Talk on TikTok. If any of you all are struggling or going through a hard time with any type of addiction, alcoholism, whatever it might be, Recovery Talk on TikTok is incredible. They're an incredible family to help push you through that next step because they've been there. They've all struggled. They've all been there. They've all gone through it. So I'm going to leave y'all with this. Become the author of your own story. Become the author of your heart and your soul. Become the author of everything that's going on inside of you and rewire your soul. Because you can do it. You can heal and you can push forward. And I always say this, you're always somebody. There's always somebody out there that needs you. And it may not be today and it may not be tomorrow, but I promise you there's somebody out there that's going to need you one day. It might be at the gas station. It might be on the road. It might be in one of your live videos that you've decided to finally open up and share a part of yourself that somebody else needed to hear, because you never know whose life you're saving. You never know whose life you're changing and impacting with your words, and just being open to love others and help others, because that's what we're here for. We were born to love. We were born with a heart and soul, pure and full of love. And we rewire it from the beginning. So now we're at the point where it's time to start tearing it down and start over. No matter what. Y'all got this. And I'm proud of each and every one of you, even if you have a setback. Trust me, I have setbacks. I had one today. It was a rough day, y'all. I'm a single mom. It's a struggle sometimes. And, kids are rough. Kids are rough. And I tell you what, sometimes I sit there and question me still. But I have to go back in there and I have to say, we're not going to do this. We're not going to backtrack as much as we've worked so hard for everything that we've done. We're not backtracking. We're not giving up, and we're going to keep pushing forward no matter what, because there's people out there that need us. There's people out there that need love and light, and they need to heal, and they need to hear what we have to say. And for some reason, I'm honored and I'm humbled that what I say sometimes helps somebody. It changes a heart. It opens eyes. It heals you. It helps you to find your purpose. It helps you to rewire your soul, because it's a beautiful place. And there's so much beauty in there. And your future is not written yet. Your future is still in front of you, no matter what you've gone through. Don't give up hope. And know that we're here next to you and we love you. I have one other little weed thing if I can find it. I thought this was kind of cool. The best seed. Oh, where'd it go? One sec. I had to send this to my child. So I have my tablet, my phone, my computer. I'm like, wow, there's stuff everywhere. So I got to enlarge this because these eyes ain't as good as they used to be. Okay. The best seed. I love this. I just think it's so sweet. So we're going to end with this tonight. There was once a farmer who grew the most excellent wheat. Every season, he won the award for the best wheat in his county. A wise woman came to him to ask him about his success. He told her that the key was sharing his best seed with his neighbors, so they could plant the seed as well. The wise woman asked, "How can you share your best wheat seed with your neighbors when they compete with you every year?" "That's simple," the farmer replied. "The wind spreads the pollen from everyone's wheat and carries it from field to field. If my neighbors grew inferior wheat, cross-pollination would degrade everyone's wheat, including mine. If I'm to grow the best wheat, I must help my neighbors grow the best wheat as well." And honestly, if you want to live a meaningful and happy life, help others to find your happiness. And that's what this farmer did. The value of your life is measured by the lives you touch, with love, kindness, respect, and hope. And it's so true. If you want to live a beautiful life, don't just live for you. Live for your brothers and your sisters. live for the people that are trying to live for themselves but struggling, because they need you more than you realize. So I will leave you guys with this. I love you all. I'm so humbled to be able to have this show every Monday and be able to speak to you all. And I'm so excited to be able to bring it to TikTok. I'm trying to still figure it out if I'm going to keep it live like this or how I'm going to do it. But y'all are amazing. And never forget, one family, one mission, one fight. We're all in this together. Rewire your soul. Conquer that network and pull it apart and start over. Because you can do it. You don't have to deal with the pain and the hurt and the negativity forever. It's time to start having a different mindset. It's time to train that mindset and put different goals in place. Rome wasn't built in a day, and that's okay. We're here for you, and we love you. Until next time, fill your cup Motivational Mondays with Sugar Rose on WeP3 Radio, the People's Patriot Project, Semplify Design, because they did a badass job on my website. Y'all, if you want to check out my website, it's www.sugarrose.com. If you're all interested in following me for anything else, I have my Facebook page, which is Sugar Rose, and I have my Facebook music page, which is Sugar Rose Music as well, and TikTok, Sugar Rose 1279. I'll put my little ticker at the bottom of the screen here for just a second. That way you guys can get that as well. But then that way, if you guys are wanting to follow me and be a part of anything in the future, that is how you can find me. So again, thank y'all. I love y'all. I'll be making an announcement soon for One Family, One Mission, One Fight, releasing August 22nd. Well, I guess I just made the announcement, but I'll be doing some other announcements in between that. And that song is just going to be an incredible, impactful, beautiful, beautiful thing. We're all in it together. Love y'all. I hope you're doing amazing, and I hope you have a great week. And if you don't, that's okay. Don't forget, every morning when you get up, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're worth it and you matter and you are enough, and start to rewire your soul. Bye, guys.